I remember you telling me stories about Mexico and like how crazy the scene is and just everybody cheering them on. It's kind of akin, of course, going to the EU for Call of Duty over there. Just the fan base is just absolutely insane. Looks like we're finally underway. This isn't going to be a false start, so let's get it going. NRG versus Pittsburgh Knight. First opportunity for us here to watch at a high caliber Icebound since the changes have occurred. How much of an impact is it going to have? And I think the biggest impact is over here on this neutral hill on Bravo.
Looks like Sleeper going to go ahead and secure that first blood. Mental potentially dropping as well. It's going to be 3 dead coming in from NRG early. Of course, we are on long spawn, so the remaining members of NRG need to make sure they stay safe. Their captain Explosive fighting that 1v1 versus Desnai, just playing it nice and patient as he should, giving his teammates some time to respawn back. It looks like the initial is going to be in favor of Pittsburgh Knights, but for how long?
Really good pressure from Pittsburgh Knights. They continue to push forward. That's player number 7, which was Chaos, doing a great job holding his own in a 1v2. Unfortunately, in the end, wasn't going to be enough, but that's not even their storyline is happening. It's down here on the home hill of NRG. You see NRG is going to be recovering Bravo, and just in the nick of time, as Pittsburgh will, in fact, take over Charlie. See if NRG can turn things around, but I will say I am impressed by that initial from Pittsburgh, applying that pressure, continuing to strive forward for NRG's spawn point. NRG barely broke out, but it's a good thing they did. They stay alive for a little bit, but look at that point lead.
Yeah, securing their first 2 cap. They're going to need to hold it for definitely quite some time to get that lead back. You see Pittsburgh Knights, the first teams to eclipse that 100-point mark, and Sleeper just being a thorn in the side of this NRG team. But NRG, they have the B hill, right? No matter how good position you have sometimes, if you don't have the hill, it's almost all for nothing. So let's go ahead and see what Pittsburgh Knights do. It looks like they're trying for an OE over at A. Praise is going to be there right behind him. Has to be careful because Sleeper is beginning to rotate over. Good job by NRG continuing to kind of move their resources back towards their home hill to make sure they preserve this 2 cap as long as they can. Pittsburgh Knights, they got to get aggressive. They got to get on that hill.
NRG's made a good comeback. At one point, they were down about 70 points quick as they lost it. They are now regaining it back. Potentially going to be retaking that lead very soon. You saw Pittsburgh Knights applying that pressure onto A, as you were saying, Ryan, but now they're going to be on to Bravo. NRG allocating some resources up top, and they're doing a good job. Dezo's going to be the first one to drop. Identives, though, up close from the corner. Will take explosives out. Chaos will then drop summons, and that's going to open up Bravo. Mental's going to be the only one up top, but he can only apply so much pressure with that Lancer. Eventually, the break comes through. Pittsburgh will, in fact, be able to lock down Bravo relatively soon. And you see NRG, quick as they lose B, already hopping on to Charlie. But Alpha also had some activity as well.
Say both home hills getting hit at the same exact time. Some big fights underway. Monkeys has explosives, very hurt. He's dropped himself, but the teamwork comes through for Pittsburgh. Looking to secure that 3 cap, and they do. It's a long-winded round, almost 3 minutes, but Pittsburgh Knights on their map pick take the very first round against NRG.
You got to say, NRG's always been known to send out some stragglers. I kind of highlight that, specifically on Vascar, where they love to just rotate those home hills, and they do it very effectively. When it comes to Icebound, though, there's a long distance to traverse, right? So it's a little bit more risky if you're sending out individuals to lock down those home hills. You catch a team off guard, but if that team is prepared to rotate back towards the home hill, it's going to be very difficult. You put yourself in a 1v2 situation. If you don't clutch up, well, it's really no fault of your own. You were doing everything you could, but in the end, that team is just going to recover anyways. And we kind of saw that with Pittsburgh Knights, specifically towards the end there when they got that domination. NRG just not able to win those fights in those 1vx situations. Solid round for Pittsburgh Knights from the initial all the way through the end. Let's see if they can capitalize and do just the same here in round number 2.
Yeah, you're going to see Pittsburgh getting aggressive on B. Once again, Identives trying to dance around, trying to secure that cap, of course, on this Icebound map. Sometimes if you can get on that hill, it's so easy to hold down because of all the different angles you have. Sleeper's going to get the down on summons and the full finish. Can he stay alive? It looks like, as of right now, the answer is going to be yes. I like the placement of that smoke grenade to try and block those lines of sight from NRG and securing that B cap. We're going to see 2 members down for the COG team. Praise getting hit from all angles. Has to be careful, trying his best to go for that break. He does secure it, but the Swarm team does reclaim A, and now they get to start to build that lead with this 2 cap.
He was holding his own, though, for quite some time, and that allowed for NRG to potentially set up for Bravo. It's going to be 3 strong just to the left of that mini-map. 1 player down low. It's going to be player number 3 of Solars, as he might make that OE, but as right now he's just kind of chilling and being a deterrence in case Pittsburgh Knights does want to OE for potentially Charlie in the future. You see NRG, though, will be rotating down, potentially setting up for that alpha push. Pittsburgh Knights is going to pick up on this. They're going to allocate those resources down low. And NRG is about to make a break for it, potentially. And this could be big for them. Potentially turn the tides. Specifically, if they win this, that's going to be 3 down for Pittsburgh Knights. You see that one player from NRG, it's going to be Mental playing around with Bravo. He'll back up, but if NRG plays this right, they could come out with a very good advantage, specifically a very strong map presence.
Yeah, but I mean, you see right now, Pittsburgh, they're ready for this push, right? They have all the resources over at A. It's going to be up to NRG to kind of break the setup they're building, and so far it's looking good, but unfortunately a couple members go down. Can Pittsburgh get a hold of these kills? Solars unfortunately takes his own teammate out, but the numbers continuing to fall in NRG's favor, so a great push by them, despite Pittsburgh knowing it was coming now. They have to make sure they get on B, because eventually, obviously, the Pittsburgh Knights will be off spawn. It's a matter of how long this remaining member can hold down B. The D cap is coming through. NRG starting to fight for that trip cap. Monkeys gets one. That's going to be A. So at the very least, Pittsburgh should be able to get their home hill back. NRG, as they see Pittsburgh cross the 200-point mark, need to start grabbing this 2 cap and holding it. But Taylor, someone has now hopped on C.
Yep, someone's on C, and they're going to be capturing it. And that was, in fact, Sleeper, who did a good job rotating over. But how long are they going to be able to maintain that? They broke the 200 mark, and they just want to get into that safety net area to where all they need is just to maintain their home hill to take over the win. And currently, they will, in fact, win it, at least as of now. But NRG will recover. They get Bravo and Charlie, but it's not enough.
They have Sleeper mark. Sleeper almost got out of there and made a sneaky play, but they had the mark on him. NRG, their win condition now flows through this A hill. 3 members left for Pittsburgh. This is a very winnable fight for NRG, but they have to get on this hill very soon. Seconds continue to tick. Can anyone get on there on time? It's going to be Mental. He ends up getting chunked by Monkeys. No one is able to hit the hill in time. Pittsburgh Knights playing some fantastic defense, extending that lead to 2-0.
And Ryan, is that the biggest factor why Pittsburgh Knights has won the last 2 rounds? Is because their defensive prowess?
I mean, they've done a good job of kind of, you know, seeing the pushes when they're coming. Obviously, NRG actually did have a very good retake. Pittsburgh was well set up. NRG threw some great utility, and they got a hold of the hill.
Sure.
Unfortunately, they kind of allowed that hill to be reclaimed off spawn, and they lost their home hill at the same time. So had they not lost that second home hill when Pittsburgh was getting, I believe it was the A hill back, the round might have gone a lot different for NRG. Unfortunately for them, they do not secure it. Pittsburgh has been doing a much better job playing these objectives, especially the B hill, all throughout this couple rounds.
Yeah, Pittsburgh off the initial, specifically in that first round, did a great job. They came through very powerful starts and almost had a domination off the rip in round number 1. Round number 2, NRG had a better initial. They locked down their home hill, of course, plus Bravo. And that was a good initial, but Pittsburgh Knights did a great job answering back. And now we see Knights, they are going to be messing around with that neutral hill, at least off the start. Trying to just gain as much of a point lead as they possibly can. As I look at the setup now, I will definitely be paying attention to, of course, some Monkeys as well as Sleeper. They're looking as if they want to be very aggressive. They're going for the home hill of NRG off the rip.
Yeah, again, very aggressive. You're going to see Solars playing the defense. It's a nice kill on the Monkeys. Can he make it a second? You're going to see Sleeper decide to get right out of there. He knows the fight's against him, but NRG is continuing to get aggressive, trying to capitalize on these numbers as they've done so many times. Solars killing one and killing the second, completing sort of that initial 2v1 that pushed him, and now he's on his way over to C. So NRG basically took Pittsburgh Knights' attempt at an OE and flipped it right on its head, and they secure both A and C.
They kind of have Pittsburgh cornered out of their spawn. Pittsburgh is looking to just maintain Bravo as much as they can. They know NRG was potentially going to be threatening a trip cap. I'm liking this push, though. Look at Pittsburgh Knights. They're OEing all the way through NRG spawn. NRG seems to be ready. Player 1 and 4, it's going to be mental as well as explosive. They're going to be on high alert. They're going to go ahead and allow Praise to rotate down as well. Pittsburgh Knights, though, very interesting strategy. Time is against them. They need to get to work. And this push, I don't know if it's going to work. NRG set up very well defensively. And, yeah, that's going to be the first one from Pittsburgh to drop of Desanide. But Mental's going to answer right back as they trade off. It's not going to be enough. Pittsburgh Knights, they failed that attempt. And we're probably going to be seeing NRG rotate over towards Bravo.
You see Desanide trying to shoot all the ice to try to fight off the push. I actually like that play. It's a heads-up play. Unfortunately, the members of NRG just absolutely swarm him, use the team fire that they've known for so long, and now they do secure the B hill once again. So I like the adjustment that NRG made. We talked about the first 2 rounds, how they lost the B hill both times. So what do? They put their focus on the other side of the map. They won that side of the map. It forced the Pittsburgh Knights to fight them over on this half of the map. NRG, of course, winning that fight and then using those numbers and using that aggression to then get control of B. So a great job, again, making these adjustments. You got to imagine it's their in-game leader, Explosive, making those calls, identifying the fact that they were not winning that fight and switching their focus in this map.
Pittsburgh pressing down low. Alpha is going to be their objective. They're trying to retake it. Monkeys onto Praised. Dezo onto Summons. Summons will be finished off as Pittsburgh going for the trip cap. Now, late game, Pittsburgh has been known to retake these games in their favor, and they're doing just that. They get A and C, but Bravo is going to be slipped up. I think that was Explosive who made his way over there to retake it. But look at Pittsburgh Knights. They're going to be rotating out. If they can win these next couple of fights, it could be big. But NRG still very close to taking over the lead. Pittsburgh will win at this point in time, but they don't have the respawns, and it looks as if they're not respawning yet. That's
going to be a huge break for Pittsburgh over at B. NRG not currently sitting on a hill, so now Pittsburgh once again has the 2-cap. You see on the top of your screen, the Swarm will win in 13 seconds. Can the members of NRG get there? It looks like the answer is going to be no. Around that, NRG just played so well all the way through, completely thrown by the wayside. Pittsburgh Knights make such a big play in the final moments, and look at the slaying. That tells it all right there, just completely dominating NRG on map 1.
Got to say, Pittsburgh, good composure, great defensive setups, and NRG, like you said, had that round basically in the palm of their hands the entire time and just kind of just slipped away, unfortunately. Pittsburgh Knights doing a great job rotating out, winning those fights when they matter. And being down 3-0 is rough. We got a lot of players who are going to be pretty low in overall respawns, specifically that of Praised and Summons, who ended up getting down to 0 last time, choosing not to respawn in, or at least couldn't. And then on the side of Pittsburgh, it's Identives. He's the only one at 1 of 4. Everybody's sitting at 3 out of 4 lives, 4 out of 4 lives, so they can continue to throw bodies here now on the shortest respawn. So my biggest concern for NRG is going to be on the backs of Praised and Summons if they can stay alive.
Yeah, of course, Identives going to probably try to stay on that back line. We saw him dancing on the hill early when it came to that B hill, but of course, when you have that low respawn count, you don't want to take those risks. And then, like you mentioned, man, Praised and Summons both being on 1 respawn is definitely a scary sight. You see, of course, Explosive, Solars, and Mental all sitting with a fresh 4. But again, at this highest level, Taylor, if you go down to kind of that permanent 4v5 situation, it's just the teams are too good nowadays to not capitalize on an advantage like that. So I'm looking to see what they do, and you see Explosive with an absolute laser of a down on the Sleeper, extending it over to the down on Monkeys as well. Pittsburgh trying to answer back, but you see Mental taking a very low health. It's going to be Identives. Gets aggressive on him again. Identives has to be careful. Look at this little nerd angle he's hitting him by. Big fight coming through is going to be huge. Identives does win it again. He does have that 1 respawn, so he has to be careful throughout these fights. An early advantage, definitely in NRG's favor. Going to see them even kind of throw little Mr. Krabs at him, hitting on that A hill. I don't know if anyone expected that. They get the touch on B, and it was actually just enough time. That decap attempt was just a split second enough for Pittsburgh to hop back on A. That was, again, maybe even a minuscule of time before that ends in a 3-cap, but Pittsburgh somehow find themselves still alive in this round. But NRG is building quite the lead as we speak.
I like the creativity from NRG, trying to find an opportunity. That's that experience coming through. And maybe finally finding a weak spot in Pittsburgh Knights' overall strategy, but they didn't get the trip cap. And now the same storyline still applies, right? Praised and Summons have to stay up. Solars, he's going to be in a fight himself. 2 players are, in fact, going to push him, so it's going to be a lot of pressure. He needs to hold his own. Mental, though, potentially going to be coming onto the flank of a couple of players from Pittsburgh Knights. Pittsburgh, they're going to be pinned up. This is a bad opportunity now, as they're going to be in 1 choke point, but Monkey's holding his own. He's going to take Explosive, Praised, as well as Solars down, and Praised, he's going to be on his last life.
That's going to be 4 dead, of course. Going to have 1 off spawn, but now Pittsburgh, they won the fight on the AoE. This is going to be their opportunity now to try to finish this round off and once again take 1 away. Let's see what NRG does to fight back. Explosive off spawn, I do believe, died over at C. The kills continue to come in. They're favoring Pittsburgh, and Taylor once again.
Insane.
Such an uncharacteristic round from NRG when they have control. They do such a good job of closing it out. They've gotten hit by what I used to call the optic special, not once now, but twice in a row.
It's tough, right? Especially for that fight for that home hill at the end. I for sure thought NRG putting Pittsburgh in that choke point, basically funneling them in with the Lancer Fire. I for sure thought Pittsburgh was going to be in a ton of trouble in that situation, but Monkeys came through, picked up a 3-piece, and then opened the door to take over that lead. NRG is struggling. They're now down 0-4.
And Monkeys has been making big plays all throughout this map. You saw him hitting those big full spreads, right? Putting your opponent kind of in that uncomfortable situation. When it comes to those home hill fights, you see him hitting reaction shots. He's doing absolutely everything for his team. Look at that, 22 eliminations, 5 deaths, playing so well. And again, this Pittsburgh Knights team is going to need players like him, some of their main slayers, to step up when it comes to these matchups. If Monkeys can continue to play like this will be a very strong team. And Taylor, don't forget what this team did to NRG at the San Diego Major as well. So this is a matchup that by the day they're feeling more and more confident in.
Big bloodbath now over onto that neutral hill of E, and you see Explosive and Summons and Solars as well, breaking down 3 players at 1.4 onto the side of Pittsburgh. Sleeper and Dezo, they're going to be the last 2 up. The remaining players will, in fact, be spawning, but a good opportunity for NRG to push through and take that map presence. You see how spread apart they're going to be. They're just trying to get line of sights anywhere that they possibly can. Pittsburgh, they're going to be setting up 3 strong down low, 2 strong up top, and NRG, they're set up very well to stop this push at any angle that Pittsburgh chooses to take.
You see Identity starting to approach the E hill. Their push is going to be over towards the player in house. Explosive is going to fall. Keep in mind, these are long spawns. So if you let the kills get away from you, it can be devastating. You see the good team fire from NRG as the members of Pittsburgh are just absolutely wolf-packed onto E. Can it result in kills? There's 1. That's going to be a 2nd. So NRG continues to persevere through this round. And again, they have a lead. They should be able to get this E hill back. Solars with a big double kill. It's going to be Monkeys and Sleeper who fall. Dezo as well. It's 5 dead. So NRG finally finishing off a round in which they have taken an advantage on. Put themselves on the board, but they are still in such a big hole.
Oh, I mean, you got to be perfect from this point forward. If they turn this around and they win it, they, no question, win this series 2-0, especially if they push into Exhibit. Pittsburgh, this is their map pick. This is the one they need to capitalize on and take over the victory. They cannot afford to get reverse sweeped here and lose this round, but that's some talk maybe for the future. Still so much more to be said for the side of NRG, but a good round and finally able to stop that bleeding and at least take their first point, put it onto the board. They did a great job wolfpacking, as you said. Just that Lancer Fire is so strong, and that's really was the final nail in the coffin for Pittsburgh Knights. They just didn't have enough really room to kind of navigate through to avoid that Lancer Fire. They got up close. A few of them got chunked, and that was going to be the end of that. Now this breakoff is going to happen once again, and it was great for NRG last time. Let's see if they can do and replicate that success they had last round.
And they started off a few of these rounds now with advantages. They just let it fall at the last moment, so let's see if they can try to mount the comeback, though. The kills early on look like they're starting to favor Pittsburgh. You're going to see shocks absolutely everywhere. Explosive is going to be dropped as well. If he gets full kill, that would be devastating, and he is. So now that leaves Solars and Summons off of spawn. Summons is going to fall as well. If Solars gets killed here, that's going to make a world of hurt. As you see Sleeper on the home hill, they have the mark on the mental. He's going to drop. It's all up to Praise. Nothing he's going to be able to do. The trip cap is going to come underway. A dominant map number 1 as Pittsburgh Knights take Icebound 5-1. That is certainly not the way I don't think we expected to kick off that series.
Not at all. Not at all. And you know what would have been tough about that? Go back to the Pro League. Was it the last map that NRG played where they were 5-0'd? Was it the very last one?
I believe it was. I believe it was the tiebreaker of Pro League. So in their last 2 quote-unquote official matches,
yeah, they've won 1.
Their last 2 maps have been 5-0 and 5-1.
That's tough.
That is just, again,
that is tough.
Not what you expect on multiple maps. Not like it was the same map either.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it was District and then Icebound. That's rough to say the least. I think, though, we're still going to Game 3, without question. Exhibit, I'm pretty sure NRG is going to be able to take over that victory. They play so dominant on that map. So for me, Exhibit, NRG is going to take that. And that'll push us into Vascar, which at that point is going to be anybody's game. But regardless, though, a very impressive win on Icebound. The first chance to see